Friends, I don't know what we're doing tonight. My fellow players may. I think they both do. James has chosen not to vocally tell any of us what we're actually doing. But they, I guess, joined the Roll20 ahead of me. You will get my look of surprise when James tells me it's okay to click on this link. No Warhammer 40k tonight, Rogue Trader. Dave is out. Someday we will finish that game. Is it? Can we confirm that it was the God Emperor? Yes, Spoon. I know that you just subbed. Thanks so much.
See, I thought it'd been a while since we last caught up, but I'm not getting the prompt to tell you that I've resubbed, so I don't know whether or not it's actually only be less than
yeah, because usually, as I say, usually you're like the week before me.
Yeah, so I'd be hovering there waiting to push the button. Just as the moment Arthur starts to talk, just in case he's left his audio settings in the wrong place for some reason and gets brought...
Now that you mention it, I did the Windows update and it removed my microphone and the thing that I channel music in for break time. So I had to redo that on all of my settings, on all the different scene collections and profiles. So fuck Windows Update. I hate that it does this constantly, and maybe it's OBS's problem, maybe it's somebody's problem. It's somebody's problem and I have to be the solution, and it's upsetting.
I never get any of these problems that people have complaints about when I update Windows, because I always do it.
Listen up, motherfucker. You haven't streamed in like a year and a half. That's why you don't have these problems.
Yeah, but even then, I can usually just pull up my stuff and they're like, all right, it's good to go.
All right. Hondo the Mad is super blessed, but for some reason never uses his gifts. I'm sure that there is a parable somewhere about that. The parable of the okay Samaritan.
Because, as soon as he goes to use them, they'll disappear for good.
Oh, so it's like his hair. Okay, got it. Yeah. We're Old Testament now. I understand. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of cars. Sometimes I get the urge to chase them down. That's what I'll say. Been watching a lot of Little Wars TV and big wargaming. We started a diplomacy game. It took 2 tries for some reason. Yeah.
How come I'm not a part of the diplomacy game?
Well, I put it in the announcements. Where were you?
He did. I was there.
I deleted it after it filled up basically instantly.
This is why I liked Red's comment about...
No. Let me tell you this. After 2 hours, I got a message from Gleemo who was like, if you still have a spot, I'll join. I'll be like, I'm sorry, it filled. And he'll be like, well, this is what I get for being at work and not sitting on my phone on your Discord.
Yeah.
And I was like, we'll get you in
right
next
there
time,
with
buddy.
you, Gleemo.
We'll get you #1 spot if we do it again.
Right.
I can basically ensure to both of you that I will be doing another war game after diplomacy that's somewhat more war and less diplomacy.
Okay.
Fair.
This diplomacy game is, I don't want to say anything about it publicly because I'm going to wait until it's either finished or very obviously nearing a conclusion before I release any information about it. But the first turn is already intensely wild. We haven't even completed a single move yet, just the discussions between the players. I'm already just like, woo, sheesh.
Are you playing on the web?
We're playing on Play Diplomacy, and we're in referee mode, teacher mode, so I can see all the messages people are sending.
Amazing.
So
but
while
dude,
we're doing
I
interviews,
want the scoop, dude.
I can't say anything. I only offer extremely generic advice about opening moves and alliances.
England has to go North Sea, right? That's fleet move.
You may want to talk to England about that. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god. Okay.
You may want to advise. I'm not even going to tell you who the English player is because I don't want to taint this.
Sure. Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what England's doing. I did interviews with people and only one of them actually had moves picked yet.
Oh yeah. Nice.
And one of their moves was wrong. It was an illegal move. And I told them that. I was like, based on what you just told me, I'm pretty sure your move will not work.
Yeah.
And I put it through the order solver, and it in fact would not work. So
Yeah.
this is the only advice
It's
I will
pretty
offer
rare.
players.
Like,
They were trying to make so the game allows you to make illegal moves.
oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because it allows you to say, I will move an army or fleet from X to Y.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because if you have a convoy, it would technically be possible to do that.
Yeah, but this person does not have a convoy.
It's turn 1, bro. There isn't a single fleet in the water yet.
I mean, okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, but you can theoretically you can convoy.
You cannot convoy on turn 1. I guarantee it.
All right.
You can only convoy to a unit that is on the water, and there are no units on the water.
I'll have to look up because I know there's like some very esoteric diplomacy rules for. I think it's specifically 2 moves that is like this is the only way to do this, or this is the only way that you can't do this.
Okay. Pondo the Mad, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Kind of just piddling here and there. I had recently, actually, a couple weeks ago, started working on the Redemptor kit I bought several weeks ago, or a couple months ago. I'm planning on figuring out how to cut a hole in the back, so that way I could put some LEDs in there. Because I noticed the slit on the main plate has a hole through it.
We're doing Victorian Horror Savage Worlds on Monday night, right?
Yeah, that's still
I
the
will
plan.
be playing charlatan fake occultist Professor Dr. Archibald Knickerknocker, an American who consults with Scotland Yard about occult crimes and then just blames them on very normal circumstances. And Cotton is apparently going to be playing the Crime Lord of the West End.
She's going to be playing a vigilante.
He's going to be playing Batman.
With guns.
Pretty sure Batman has guns.
Batman. just the Thomas Wayne version.
Thomas Wayne has guns.
Yes.
And I guess you would argue the Batman who laughs, but that's really just Joker taking over Batman's body.
Or when Batman shoots those spiky baton things so he can ascend atop a building. That is a gun.
A grappling hook.
It's a grappling gun, sir.
Okay.
There's a grappling hook fired from a grappling gun.
Sure.
That's
I've
still
seen
not a
GTA
gun.
5 RP. I know how grappling guns work. You can fire them thousands of feet and then fly in a straight line over a city vertically. Sorry, horizontally.
Yeah, I'll be doing that tomorrow. Not tomorrow night, Monday night, where I'll be running it for you, so we can get a taste of it.
True. Are you going to record it?
I don't think so.
He wasn't going to. I was just asking because I was going to hassle him. It's Savage Worlds, chat. You got anything else going on, Pondo?
Not a whole lot. Little one turned 1 a couple days ago.
Hey, happy birthday.
Yeah.
God, I feel old.
I can tell you, my wife had her 41st birthday yesterday, but she missed out on her 40th birthday because of COVID. So we did a big 40th bash for it. I ordered the cake, and in the cake I said, please put happy 40th birthday, Pamela. And when I picked it up yesterday, it said happy 90th birthday, Pamela. And it was too late to get the cake changed.
Well, I was going to say, you just got to lick the top off of the knot.
Yeah. Just cut off the top of the knot and you're good to go.
The calligraphy was not in a way that you could change the 9 to a 4 easily. So,
all right. Sounds like you need better bakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been playing a mixture of the Chaos Gate and Men of War. Chaos Gate is interesting. It's definitely you want to play through half of it first, or part of it first, then start a new save because you figure out where you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm still on my first save. I
am too, but
I have to finish it at some point just to get the disk space back.
I restarted because I was like, okay, well, this is interesting.
You know, Kane said the same thing, actually.
But then I immediately went. What's the like teleport attack route?
Yeah.
So I went, oh, this sounds really strong.
Gates of
Turns out I was
Infinity.
right. Yeah.
I should have finished the game before they nerfed it.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's still strong. It's just probably
I'm
not as
so
what
mad about it. Listen, if I can't do my 3-gate open, what even is the point of being a Protoss master? All right. How am I going to get to Grandmaster if I can't rely on 3-gating?
You gotta have a Justicard to
No, Photon Cannon Rush always. That was my only strategy, was Photon Cannon Rush. In Brood War, it was Dark Templar Rush, and it was surprisingly effective to carry you to the upper ranks and then never any farther.
hell of a game. Did you see they tried to teach the same AI that did AlphaGo, they tried to teach it to play StarCraft,
but like it went very well.
I mean, it immediately crushed the pros that it played because they had to give it full map vision, and I went, what's the point? Like, if it knows what the other person is building, it just builds to counter it. It doesn't matter how many APM you limit it to or anything like that. It has full map vision. It's going to win.
Did you hear about the chess playing robot at the recent tournament?
No.
That it broke a child's finger.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear about this.
Oh, geez. All right.
I thought you were going to be like, yeah, it beat everyone in one. And I was going to say, yeah, that makes sense.
That's the right of the machines. It took a piece, grabbed a child's finger instead and twisted and broke it.
No, it's interesting, though, because just today I was watching Grandmaster Hikaru play speed chess against speed chess masters, and he gave them a 5 times time limit, and he beat every single one of them at speed chess.
And that's because he's like the speed chess world champion.
But it was amazing to watch these speed chess guys in the beginning, just like, and then by the middle of the game, there's a speed chess guy who'd been doing like 4 plays a second, and now they're like spending 2 minutes on one move, and I'm like, oh shit, how bad must this be? How bad must it be that you've been slowed down to 2 minutes a turn? Spoon, what do you got?
Well, now I'm just, mad that I'm not part of the diplomacy game.
Just snapped it up, bro.
Yeah.
This reminded me of Rad this week asking Arthur, like, when's the D&D group meeting? And Arthur's like, when we all get on the same page. And Rad said, oh, well, the fact I'm not in the game means we're not on the same page.
I invited him. Listen, I invited 2 people before I started spreading out feelers, Big Spoon and Radisaurus, and both of them said no. So I don't want to hear shit from Radisaurus.
Listen, I was going to be brutal.
But you will hear it from me then.
I'm not going to hear shit from you about it either.
I was going to
You turned me down immediately, within seconds. Go ahead, Pondo.
I was going to reply to Rad saying, well, if you came on, they wouldn't meet you only meet about maybe once a month.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Let's see. What have I got going on?
When was your last Star Wars game?
Actually, it was last week.
Okay.
How long was it since then, though? Before that?
Time.
3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at least another week before we do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my fault this time. They're not Rad's.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get us out of cinematic mode and back into everyone murders everyone they've ever met.
Well, you just have to go back to the one planet you left.
Go back to Deluge. Yep, you're going back to Deluge, boys. That's it. That's how we reset everything.
Thought we were out, and then they pulled us right back in. I don't. Oh, Solaris Knight's finale is coming up. We've got that scheduled.
I'm looking forward to that. Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, yeah. I had an irrational fear today that I was like, I got home from work and was cooking dinner, and then went, oh, was that today? And then had to think about it and went, nah, it's a couple days away. So looking forward to that. It's going to be fun to do the season finale or series finale, I guess I should say, with Kane. So yeah, other than that, not a whole lot. not a whole lot going on. I went back to work this week after being on vacation, so that kind of sucked. But it is what it is.
Well, we'll have one more episode after that. We're gonna pull everybody in for the
hall.
For the hall, but it's the hall where instead of I dominate everything, I let everybody talk to each other and be like, "Wow, that was such an incredible play! You too, bro." I don't know if that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, Tom is gonna go the fucking mad cat.
I should have disallowed that for sure. That was there. I made several misplays throughout Solaris Nights, not the least of which famously was having the wrong final villain.
Yeah,
I chose the one that was already dead. Oh my god! All right, well, I've prepared 2 surprises for the finale, so you better be fucking ready to roll, bro.
All right.
You got anything else?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
All right, I will say this. I've been looking into like play by email style war games, and I'm circling around a Star Trek one. There's a couple different one out there, but I'd be real interested in seeing each player play a different Federation starship or like Klingon or Romulan, and then have everybody just have a scrum and I don't know. What do they call them? Neutral zone instead of demilitarized zone?
Mm-hmm. Yep, in the neutral zone.
I don't understand. Why were the Klingons always allowed to go into the neutral zone? And like, no one was like, we should just... If they're just going to violate the treaty, why do we bother pretending? Like, every episode, it's just like, there's a Klingon vessel in the neutral zone, Captain.
I mean, it's basically...
when you are the military superior force, breaking the treaty is probably less of a concern.
Yeah, exactly. It's always the Klingons can break it without repercussions. The Romulans can break it without repercussions. Like,
this is why Deep Space Nine was the best one.
Yeah,
by far. Because when the Federation broke it, we get it's a fake. I love that. There's a dude out there that's doing 4K AI upscaling of scenes, and he did all of the Garrick scenes, and he did that scene, and I was like, "Look, you chose correctly which scenes to do."
Dude, Garrick is one of the best characters in Star Trek. God. Period, hands down. Like, he's amazing.
His actor is like, I'm constantly amazed by Garrick. I played him, but when I see him on screen, I'm convinced that I don't know anything about him. The dude actually wrote a book about Garrick from Garrick's point of view. He's like, here's all the notes from everything that happened in the background that no one ever knew about Garrick. And I was like, wow, Garrick is a real piece of shit. Why did anyone like him?
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's a fucking covert, like,
he's an assassin saboteur, and he's always
he was just really fucking charming. Like,
Mr. Garrick, that's the onty true thing you've ever said to me. I think you're right, Captain.
I'm glad to see you've been paying attention.
Oh my god. So you can understand why, look, the rules don't seem like they're that good, but I get the feeling I think we could get a couple people interested in Star Trek. So someone's saying Star Trek Ascendancy. Is that a Star Trek war game, chat? Let me know. Anyway, let's jump to James, who will be running today's one shot, which I still don't know what it is.
Yeah, do I get like my intro at all first, or
I'm prefacing your intro with your air of mystery.
Okay, no worries. Well, look, I guess the only really fun thing for me this week is I learned an awesome new painting skill, or specifically an airbrushing skill, or an airbrushing lesson. And that lesson is, when you are airbrushing, put your compressor on the floor, not on the table you're airbrushing on. Because I was airbrushing a tank, which meant that the compressor was constantly running, and I was focused on the model, and the compressor vibrated its way off the table and broke itself.
Yeah.
You're lucky it didn't explode.
Yeah.
I was only around like 17 psi. Actually, it didn't break the whole compressor; it just broke the the snapper hose off. So I had to go buy a new.
I'm just saying,
But
I'm terrified of compressors internally. I look at it and I notice when I forget to like empty out the compressor, I'm like, ooh, that's not great.
It's like so because we had a new dog, and recently the dog made a mess on one of our couches, and my wife sent me to the hardware store to buy like enzyme odor remover, etc. I went and bought some spray, and I'm looking at the box of spray or the can of spray as I'm walking out to the car, and it's got like the highest flammable rating, like do not have anywhere near open flames or sparks. Like, this can will explode if you look at it the wrong way. I was really worried about what I bought just to deal with.
I've bought napalm to clean my couch.
But now look, other than that, my life has been pretty normal. It's just a lot of work, and still, I've got Curse of Strahd tonight after this game, so it's a dual game day for me. But other than that, just not much gaming. Just what I do it on Arthur's channel or with Arthur and Spoon, etc. So AP, if you like, you can now go and to join. You can follow that Roll20 link. Even though I hadn't told you not to follow up to that, you made the choice to maintain the air of mystery. Just to be clear.
Yes, I see. We'll be playing the film Mutante Chronicles, a 2008 thriller produced in a place called Great Britain. I've never heard of it.
It's actually a pretty terrible film. It's got its charms, but it's like a Uwe Boll film. If you know Uwe Boll films at all, he did a lot of the films based on computer games. Like he did the Dungeon Siege movie and the Postal movie, and he's like, people try to get him to stop making films. He said, look, if I get 1 million signatures on a web petition, I will stop making films. And they got 1 million signatures, and he said, fuck you, I'm still making films anyway. It's
I don't know why they keep giving him money to make movies. I don't know.
Oh my god. You really buried the lead here. He's the guy who made the Blood Raid movies.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
with the girl from Terminator 3. That's right. Yeah.
And the in the Name of the King movies.
Dungeon Siege, in the Name of the King. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. With Jason Statham.
Yeah, which I like. So when I saw that he had signed up for those movies, I was like, why?
It was a good paycheck.
I think Uwe Boll is independently wealthy and funds his own films because no one else will. But
I don't know how he keeps said money because I swear his stuff just bombs. But
no idea. But yeah, so this is actually because, as we mentioned before, sometimes we have a hard time getting together for our secret, not so secret Star Wars game. And I said to Arthur I'd have some like one shots in the wing, so anytime Brad couldn't make it, I could do something for like Spoon and AP. And this is the first one I had prepped, and it's easy to put in a third person as well. So if you are not familiar with Mutant Chronicles, it's another role-playing game based on a war game from the early 90s. I think it's when the war game first came out. And the first RPG was done by Target Games in 98, and then Modifius picked up the license about 3 years ago. And the book was written by Jay Little, who is the same author who wrote the system for Edge of the Empire, Force and Destiny, Age of Rebellion. So you'll see, although it's not quite the sort of like the refinement that those systems have, it does have similar elements in so far as producing multiple axes of result from your dice roll, although it does use conventional dice. A lot of people have jokingly likened this game to being Warhammer 3K, because it has some very stylistically similar elements. Although, to be honest, the picture I put up on Roll20 is probably not indicative of the game today, because today's game is a pre-written prequel that sort of establishes the setting. It's actually set, I think, about 400 years before the game is normally set. So today's game is set in the year 2481. So it's based on our future as such. So yeah, so 300 odd years in our future. To understand the setting, it's a bit of a depressing setting. So effectively, in the storyline of Mutant Chronicles, on Earth, in the near future, corporations become so powerful they basically overtake the position of governments. Like a few governments try and resist, but they do, at the end of the day, the corporations own all the assets. They are able to effectively supplant governments as the core with the exception of Russia. Russia basically closes its borders off and maintains a separation from corporations. But and of course the corporations, once they become governments, are no longer constrained by a lot of normal elements. So they begin doing things like strip mining every resource they can get, making as much money as possible. And pretty much within the space of about 100 years, Earth is pretty much screwed as a planet goes. So the corporations end up funding their own way into space. So the moon is the first thing which is colonized, and the moon is sort of the first place that all the corporations have territory, and it's a I would say utopia, but it's basically a giant city that is broken down into corporate-based districts where they all sort of have an interrelationship, work together, whereas the other planets are owned by individual corporations. So Venus is one corporation, Mercury is one corporation, the moons of the gas giants, are owned by different corporations. But mankind is still actually exploring our solar system and finding new resources to exploit and strip mine.
You say it's like 300 years in the future?
Yeah.
400.
400?
Yeah, 400 years.
Doesn't sound that far away, actually.
You could have said it was 400 years in the past, and it would still perfectly encapsulate the human spirit.
Yeah. I just meant as of late, but yeah.
From a stylistic point of view, especially where this game is set, which is on the moon, it's got a very film noir style genre to it. So a lot of the technology is more derivative of things from like the 1920s and 1930s, so the vehicles, which are clearly still, like fusion powered vehicles, still look like, your old, Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost or that sort of thing, the end result is, although the corporations have brought their citizens, their workers effectively to the moon, that the average person doesn't have access to much because the corporations there's no minimum wage, there's no government regulations that, insist they have to provide healthcare. So most people live in poverty, and the technology that most people get to experience is relatively low grade, so the average person would have a CRT television rather than an LCD television, for example. And at this point in the game in 2481, there's been a series of increasingly more public incidents regarding technology, especially around AI. Because when mankind invented AI, they have AI running planetary terraforming systems, mass transit systems, and over the past several months up until the start of the game, there's been more and more news reports of like a train failing to stop at the end of the line and running off the line, killing dozens of people, environmental control systems failing in certain arcologies and causing, mass casualty or mass injury events, to the point that people have started to trust technology a little bit less. So that's it, the scene. Yeah. And for the scope of today's game, the characters are all representatives of the Lunar City PD, the LCPD. So the LCPD is one of the few extra corporate, so it doesn't belong to any one corporation. Every corporation provides people to join the LCPD, and it exists. What am I saying? I keep trying to real life.
Java says James just keeps describing real life.
Yeah, so the LCPD sits not above the corporations, but to one side. There's only really two organisations that sit outside the corporations. One is the LCPD, the other is the cartel. And the cartel is basically like an individual organisation set up by all corporations to police and administer business between the corporations. So to ensure that there is checks and balances around corporate trades and transfers, especially where more than one or more than two corporations get involved. And each of the corporations in this thing have like a stylistic style to a real world analog. So Capital is very much like the extreme take on American capitalism, where like citizens are all considered shareholders. The individual merit is what gets you ahead on the books. I thought that's what they say is, if you work hard, you'll do well. That's what they convince everyone. But in reality, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Imperial is a take on imperialist England, where they're all about sort of they have a noble class, that military service is well regarded. It's how you then go and will get given portions of land or get tithes and the like to almost form like a semi-feudal society. Mishima is based on feudal Japan. You have daimyos with, the warriors are a samurai class. The peasants are your untouchables or your Ashigaru warrior sort of thing. Bauhaus is based on like pre-World War I Germany, where every single person is considered to be a cog in the great machine. Every person is individually valued for what they do specifically, and nothing above and beyond what their assigned part of society is as such. And there's more beyond that, but I won't go into the four. Like that's enough of the four major ones to give you an idea of a starting point. So there are 6 pre-gen characters. So obviously, I think I get to use 3 of them. So 2 of them are actual full-time cops. One is a detective, one's a patrolman, one is a paramedic, and the other 3 are freelancers, so effectively contractors who have been contracted in to provide just additional manpower to the police. So they've been deputized, so to speak. So one of them is like a heavy hitter, a bulky, punchy type. One is like a technician, a mechanic. And the last one is effectively a sniper. So I guess I'd like at least either the detective or the patrolman to be played by somebody. So that way you've actually got like a genuine LCPD representative. But other than that, the paramedic and the 3 freelancers are all up for go as well. So does anybody have any preferences?
AP.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I do not want to dissuade either of these gentlemen from picking whatever the hell they want. What I'm saying is, I will play anything happily. But if someone doesn't pick the detective, I will play the detective. But if you want to be the detective, be the detective, because then I'll play the patrolman. And if the 2 of you want to be the detective and the patrolman, don't worry. I got a 3rd ready. I got ranked choice already ready here to go. Okay? You guys pick what you want. I'll pick up the scraps.
I was leaning towards either the patrolman or the heavy.
Big Spoon playing the heavy? I'm fucking shocked, bro. This is a new outlook on you. You're really leaving.
turning over a new leaf.
This is a new character archetype for you, huh?
Yeah.
I'll take the technician.
Okay, so Pondo's going to tech.
So I'm the detective then?
Okay.
You said this was set in the 1920s, right?
If you want to have an external monologue or an internal monologue, that's perfectly fine.
I was say all of a sudden Arthur's camera goes sepia, and
I can make that happen.
Yeah,
put you in front of the window.
Here.
So if you're gonna play the detective, I will play the heavy. Then I think.
Okay, all right.
We'll have two freelancers and the straight man.
You got to have somebody to keep these fucking chuckle clowns in line. I can't just let the 2 of you Charleston your way across the battlefield here.
All right, so I've assigned you all the character sheets, so you should see the characters sheets in the Roll20 now. It's only a single page character sheet, which is
yeah. That's kind of nice though.
So have a quick look, and I'll explain some of the elements to you before we get started.
Oh boy, my name is Vance Ryder.
Yeah.
And the character sheet appears to include, is that Leonardo da Vinci's Vesuvian Man?
It does, yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm. That's actually on the genuine character sheet too.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's slightly modified, but yes.
Is it Vesuvian Man or Vitruvian Man?
Vitruvian Man might be it.
Yeah.
Wait, why is a pocket knife armor piercing 1? That's confusing. That's a powerful ass knife.
So let me run you through.
I have observation, but not insight. Okay.
I'll lead you through the key elements to it. So obviously the main thing is the right-hand side attributes and skills. So the core mechanic of the game is you are rolling 2d20 and you want to roll as low as possible. So whenever you roll 2d20, so say you're making, I'll just use Arthur for an example here. So say, for example, Arthur was rolling observation. Okay, so he has an awareness of 8. He has observation of 2. So ignore the focus on the expertise for the moment. So he's rolling 2d20, and any dice that rolls 10 or lower is a success. So the addition of the attribute and the expertise. If you've got a focus, sorry?
I'm thinking of Pendragon, but you have to roll under instead of over.
Yeah. If you have a focus in a skill, then any dice result of that number or lower counts as 2 successes. So in Arthur's case, he's got 8 awareness, 2 observation expertise with 2 focus. So he rolled 2 dice, 10 or less success, 2 or less, so a 2 or a 1 is 2 successes. And the difficulty is the number of successes you require. So most tasks are 1 success is all you require. So roll 2 dice. As long as one of your dice is under the relevant score, you succeed. Sometimes I'll say it's difficulty 2, difficulty 3. Obviously, difficulty 3 you can only achieve if you've actually got focus in a skill, for example, or higher, so to speak. But there are ways to get more dice too. A 20 on either dice is a complication. So you can still succeed in a roll because you get one of your dice is a success, the other dice is a 20. That results in a complication. Now, normally the player gets to determine what that complication is. So, you're trying to sneak somewhere, you might drop something inadvertently. If the player can't think of something, then the GM gets to, to go over the top. But the player is given the opportunity first to decide what the complication should be. If you get 2 20s, then that's it. The GM gets to decide what the you can still succeed once again. If you've got more than 2 dice, you can still succeed with 2 20s. But 2 or more 20s, the GM decides what the complication of that outcome is. There's also some resource mechanics. So you've got Chronicle points. So at the top of the middle, you should see Chronicle points, current and starting. Think of them like fate points. There's a few things you can do with them. Probably the most important one is before you decide to roll any dice, you can spend a Chronicle point, and effectively you get 1 dice that's already rolled a 1. So you've automatically got 1 success. And if you've got focus in that skill, you've automatically got 2 successes. So obviously quite a powerful thing. You can use it to recover all light wounds in a single body location. So a quick way of getting back damage. You can use it to make a narrative declaration, i.e., I go to the boot of my car where obviously I have a shotgun there, something along those lines where you simply just, similar to using force points in Force and Destiny or the like. And in combat, you can spend a Chronicle point to take an extra action on top of your regular actions as well. Normally, they don't come back within the scope of a single session with a couple of exceptions. On top of that, the GM has what's called the Dark Symmetry pool. So the Dark Symmetry pool is basically the bad shit pool. And a lot of DM characters need Dark Symmetry points to activate their abilities. Anytime you roll a complication, I get two of those points. I start with a certain amount based on the number of players, but I get 2 points every time you roll a complication. Certain other things can trigger it as well. And I've got to, as a GM, decide what I use for mid-range encounters versus how many points I save to activate all the big BBEG's major abilities when you actually come to fighting, the whatever it's going to be encountered at the end of an adventure, for example.
Do you also get those points if we use the Chronicle points?
No, but you can. One way you can get another Chronicle point is if I say make a roll for something, you can say I choose to automatically fail this roll. Count as having failed. I get Dark Symmetry points as well, but you get an extra Chronicle point back. So if you want a Chronicle point back, sorry.
Sorry, I'm very bad when you give these type of resources to me. I tend to spend them immediately.
Yeah, no, I mean the game should be going around as well, should be going back and forth. The other thing to keep in mind is something called dread. So in the middle of your sheet, there's something called dread setting. So your character might acquire dread, which is effectively like a fear mechanic. As you start ticking the boxes, you'll see that it goes from 20 to 19 to 20 to 18 to 20, etc. That increases the range under which you suffer a complication. So if you're at dread level 3, 17 to 20 on the dice is a complication. So you can always choose to roll less dice than you have if you're worried about rolling complications. So if I have something I want to do and I want to succeed, but I don't want to have any chance of complication, I'll just spend a Chronicle point, get my 1 success with a 1, and not roll any dice at all. You can also choose when you are about to make a roll, you can ask for more dice, and every extra dice you take gives me 2 dark symmetry points to a maximum of plus. You can never get more than 5 extra dice from any source onto a roll.
And that's similar to like I have a talent called Repost, which is may spend dark symmetry after parry to attack.
Yes. So there's 2 dark symmetries. There's dark symmetry on what my pool is. There's also dark symmetry result on certain dice.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So when you roll dark symmetry on the dice, that's where you can use it, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a symbol. It looks like a little sort of like an ankh almost, or a T.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the only dice other than D20s is D6s, and D6s, the official D6s have a 1, a 2, 3 blank sides, and a dark symmetry symbol, which is the 6 basically. And the main place you use them is for damage. So if you look at your weapons, you'll see you have like a damage where it has fixed damage and then damage. So say it's 1 and 3. So you start with 1, and then you roll 3 D6. 1s and 2s add to the damage. 3s, 4s, and 5s do nothing. The dark symmetry points, the 6s, are used to activate the weapon's abilities. So if it's got pierce, for example, so like a pocket knife isn't always armor piercing unless you roll a dark symmetry dice, which indicates you managed to jam it through some gap in the armor into the person's soft bits and inside, basically. Same with things like stun, etc. So you need to get those 6s on your damage dice to be able to activate those weapon abilities, except for close quarters. Close quarters just means you can use that weapon in melee without penalty, which is usually reserved for handguns. Questions? Is that all straightforward? Last thing I mentioned is something called momentum, and you should see some of your character abilities where it says you can spend momentum. Anytime you make a roll, if you get more successes than the difficulty of the roll, you get what's called momentum. You can either spend those momentum points straight away on that roll to reduce the time, increase the effectiveness, add some extra benefit, similar to advantage in D&D. Or if you can't think of a way to use it, you can bank that momentum into the group. So the group can have up to 6 banked momentum, and anyone can then spend that momentum during their turn for other effects as well, like where it says you can spend momentum or using it to enhance damage or to hit a specific location. It becomes a group resource. Every round of combat, unspent momentum goes down by 1, so effectively you start to lose momentum. And after any major scene change, momentum resets to 0. So it's only really relevant in the scene you're currently in. All good? Okay.
Yep.
So let's tell you a bit about the game and the character. So we've got 3 characters. First one is Detective Vance Ryder, member of the LCPD. Capital, American in background. I would say probably your experienced, grizzled, noir style detective. Where's a coat? Where's a hat, etc. One thing I will observe is that the artwork for Mutant Chronicles, they love giving the characters big shoulder pads. So if you look on the picture in the background,
actually says that in my equipment list.
Yeah, you have a military grade shoulder pad. Yeah. So you'll see, for example, you have soak on one arm that's higher than your soak on the other arm. It's just part of the artistic style they originally came about in the early 90s with having these giant shoulder pads.
Yeah, World of Warcraft inherited that.
Yeah, exactly. Then we've got Sato Tsuyoshi, obviously of Mishima style, not so much a samurai, more like a Ronin. He's a hard hitter, but not any major service. Just freelancing to whoever basically take his contract on right now. He carries effectively a shotgun, and brass knuckles. He is both big, muscly, and also skilled with his weapons, but particularly in close combat's where he's most dangerous. And then finally, Daniela Arsini, from a smaller corporation, but a derivative of Bauhaus, basically. So with that sort of European, French/German background. Very good on the tools, a natural mechanic. He able to handle most mechanical or electronic devices. However that may be of help to the LCPD. And the three of you have been given a job on this particular night. So Luna City, the moon now has an atmosphere for the purposes of this game, but it doesn't have a day-night cycle. So you always see a star field on the moon, even though there's there's a mandated time period or timekeeping. You don't get like a blue sky on the moon. It's always night, and what's more, it's almost always raining. The three of you have been sent out on a patrol to a location which is called Strafar Gatan 39, which is it's an apartment complex. It's in a region of the moon called the Nines, which is very much lower class slums. So people that work there are generally low rent workers, factory line workers, cleaning staff, for example, for the various corporations, and the corporation provides them with a living space, but only to the bare minimum they need to really survive. And in fact, Strafar Gatan 39, which is the actual apartment complex itself, according to the records you got access to, it belongs to Bauhaus Corporation, and it's scheduled to be demolished. But there are still a few people living inside, and they're just waiting for the corporation to move them out to other locations before the building can be knocked down and repurposed to other things. Now, the reason that you've actually been sent to this particular location is that the LCPD's had a lot of noise complaints coming from the residents of the building, complaining about screaming on the third floor. They've probably picked up like 6 or 7 complaints before they finally decided to dispatch a patrol unit. The first patrol unit went to the site. They investigated and found that the three of the apartments on the third floor had their doors wide open. They couldn't find the residents. There was no signs of struggle or theft, but there was blood found in all 3 rooms. They spoke to some of the residents. None of them, most of them said they'd heard the screaming at various points in time, but hadn't seen anything. And then the first patrol unit received a high priority call somewhere else nearby that they left the site and didn't return. So effectively, it got stuck in the too hard basket. And it's now like about 5 days later, when your unit's been past this effectively shit job to go and follow up on the on the Strafan Gatan 39 case. The other thing that's happened is that so Ryder, you've gotten like a communication shoved in the folder that tells you that apparently when they were interviewing the people on site, one of the residents they spoke to, the resident of 202, apartment 202, told them that there was a girl living in 302, one of the ones that was missing, by the name of Sandrine Peterson. Now, the name Sandrine Peterson popped a hit in the LCPD database because she's listed as a missing person. She is the daughter of a very wealthy, very highly placed Bauhaus executive named Francois Peterson. Now, when I say she's missing, it is suspected that she ran away from home. But the fact that if she is somehow involved in this, bringing her back to her father, would certainly get by the LCPD a lot of credibility with the Bauhaus Corporation. So it's a pretty simple assignment. Go to the tenement, find out what's happened, file a report, all the usual stuff, keep your paperwork clean. You are warned, by the way, that the Nines neighborhood is the territory of a street gang known as the Croaks. That primarily they deal drugs. They're generally not afraid of the police. There's been multiple sort of armed incidents with the Croaks in the 90s in the past. So just to be aware that gang activity could be a problem. The other thing to consider about this building is that it's not structurally sound. During excavation works to dig out a basement for the building, for a new building next door to it, they hit a sinkhole, and there was a large, deep excavation hole, and effectively the front right 1/3 of the tenement block partially collapsed into the hole. So, scaffolding has been put up, stuff to try and keep the building stable until they can move the people out. But just to be aware that, the building itself is structurally unsound and nobody lives above the 3rd floor. It's a 10-story building, but, from floors 4 to 10 are effectively derelict and condemned. I'll just show to you the, hopefully that popped up on your screen. This is the map that was drawn by the responding officers from the first patrol sent by. Any questions?
What are the room numbers of the people who disappeared?
Okay, so they have listed an understood resident list. So going through so most of the actual apartments are no longer occupied, but according to the log, apartment 101, first floor, is Lucius Diatoro, who is the tenement manager. He's the only resident on the first floor. Second floor, apartment 202, is Abigail Baxter, retired. Third floor, 301, is Clarence and Mary Beeks, who are factory workers for Bauhaus. So apartment 2 is where they believe Sandrine Peterson was. And 303 is registered to a Conrad von Saar.
But is the 3rd floor is where the 3 rooms filled with blood were, right?
That's right, yeah. And so the Beekses, Sandrine Peterson and Conrad von Saar were not seen or not met by the LCPD patrol. They're the ones that are believed to be missing.
Okay. So 301, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think I know what you're going to answer the question for me, James, but is the LCPD sort of typical corrupt, don't really care, crime fighting / enforcing organization that basically is little more than a puppet for the corporations?
No, so the LCPD does stand aside from the corporations, but it also has to curry favour with each of them as well, because the corporations give it its supplies, they give it its tech, its weapons, they fund parts of it, but it needs to show results. Effectively, you're already on somebody's shit list for some past infraction, which is why you've ended up with this shit job. So turning in a half-baked report without actually, just walking, going, nah, can't figure this one out, put it in the too hard basket. It's not gonna do your career any favors.
And my 2 companions, your names again were
Sato.
You're on mute, Pondo.
Damn it, Daniela.
Do we arrive in my patrol car? Do I have a patrol car? All right.
Yeah, you've got a patrol car. Yeah. So I think it's your sort of 4-seater
sedan. Police interceptor. Yeah. So as the theme song fades and the rain sounds come down on the car, it's the 3 of us stepping out of the car as the words "Ryder" fade off of the screen, and Ryder pulls his hat down closer over his eyes as he pulls out a cigarette. Sato, you got any experience talking to gangsters?
More experience shooting them.
Why don't you see if you can round up
the shotgun on his back?
See if you can round up one of the boys around here. Maybe somebody running a gin mill or something. Bring him to me. I want to give him a talk. If you gotta scare him, threaten him, do what you gotta do, huh? But come back in one piece. Can't be losing any torpedoes yet. Daniela, you're with me.
So looking at the building from the outside, like above the third floor, there's like holes in the walls, and clearly like the front full third of the building is like collapsed and has like, you know, where they put up the scaffolding with that like clear plastic sheeting that's now sort of like blowing in the wind and the rain. So the main sound you can hear is just that rattle of the plastic sheets. The road you've driven to it on is effectively now a dead end because the sinkhole has like taken out half of the roadway as well. So there's not long enough space for a vehicle to drive to the other side. So if you want to go to the buildings on the far side of the sinkhole, you have to go all the way around several blocks to come back in again. And there's surprisingly few people on the street. I mean, it's obviously raining, but it always rains. And, you know, an LCPD vehicle is pretty recognizable. You don't have like an unmarked car. You're still taking a marked car. So, you know, there's, you know, you see some curtains across the road, like, you know, pull shut after Sticky Beaks have a look at what's going on. And probably some stay open with the light turned off so they can look at, wow, what the police doing here? They're already posting on social media saying why the police in our suburb, basically.
I let the cigarette like half hang out of my mouth as I don't look at Daniela, but I say to her, wow, we can go real Ritz here. All right. Now look, give me, what am I looking at here? If I go in this building, am I going to die? Because I got a mother that, you know, I'm taking care of, and she'd miss her little boy if I went in there and the whole building fell down on me, Daniela.
Am I a woman or am I a man?
I don't know.
Daniela's a woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, if you go in there, you could die any sort of way. There could be some sort of crack job in there that could go out, shake you in the stomach, you go bleed out on the floor, or you could just fall through a hole.
I know about guys coming at me, okay? I served in the military. I'm asking you structurally, is this building going to fall down on top of me if I try going inside?
What the fuck do I look like? An engineer? I'm a mechanic. I'm sooner to steal your muffler than figure out if that's going to collapse any second.
You steal my muffler, you're going to the poke.
You won't even notice.
Jesus. You know what a catalytic converter is going for on the moon?
I do, actually.
Perfect.
So just to clarify, I'm asking Spoon to go find a troublesome young gangster who looks like they know something and then threaten them until they come back with him so I can interrogate him. I want to run up this gang angle just so that I can get it in my report. I'm going to go to the room 101 and get the super.
Well, so you get to the door of the facility. It's one of those ones where there's like a locked door and like a button panel with the the names all called out.
I hit all the buttons.
I think at a certain point, Dan is like, "Would you stop that before you lock the system out?"
No.
Go see if you can find the sentence.
I'll wait to see who answers first.
Okay. You can give me an observation roll, please. Difficulty 1. So you should just be able to click the dice next to observation. It will do it.
I think. Meanwhile, Sato heads off into the rain to try and find a like a lookout or like a.
Cool. Okay. So you rolled a
19.
Yeah, a 5 and a 19. So the 5 is success. Okay, cool. So one thing you do notice when you flick down is that because obviously like it's grimy here. And the buttons for the various apartments, are occupied, have got that little bit of grime wiped off them where people regularly use it. You also notice, though, that apartment 104 has been used recently, even though there's no resident listed either on the police report or on the board here. I'll come back to your answers in a moment when we go. We'll do with Spoon first.
Okay.
So. Yeah, Spoon, give me an observation, see if you can spot someone that might be on lookout.
Sure.
Difficulty 1.
So when I click the dice,
It's a number of dice too. That's it. That's the default.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you're buying more dice, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah. There's a young kid, probably let's say 12 or 13. Who's basically standing conspicuously, maybe about 2 buildings down. Who's is observing that you guys are. He doesn't have any sort of like radio device or anything, but he's certainly observing that you're there. Mm-hmm. Probably, waiting for you to no longer be in sight so he can run up and tell somebody.
Yeah. So, I will make my way down the street towards him, but not looking like I'm gunning directly at him. Like I'm just going to pass nearby, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Like casual.
Yeah. But then, as soon as
he's more focused on the detective at the front door than he is on you right now.
Yeah. As soon as I'm out of his eye line, I want to come up behind him real fast and grab him in a.
Talk about scruff, see, shake him out.
All right. As soon as you grab him, he does that sort of tries to run, but you're able to you pick him up and his legs just flail in space like, hey, let me go.
I do not think so. You are going to talk to my boss, and you will tell him what you know, or he will leave you with me. And I'll jab him with the point of one of my daggers that I have hidden away on my person, and then
he's smart enough to know that you're not someone to mess with. You can't easily get out, so he sort of goes limp, but as compliant as possible.
I will head back over to Ryder.
Okay. So you push all the buttons, AP. The first one that answers, you hear a lady's voice. An old lady, you'd say, retired, Yes, hello?
This is the police from the real McCoy. Open up.
Oh, certainly. You hear the sound of the
open the door.
Okay. At this point, Sato walks up carrying a waif as well.
Okay. So the stairs to the basement are complete, even if the basement's a fucking disaster, right?
I think there is a basement. Implication is that it only starts on this level.
Okay, but the scaffolding leads down to the hole at the very least, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. If there's only one person using apartment 101 on this map, then that means 105 is empty, right?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to indicate for Sato for all of us going to 105. And for Sato to basically hold this kid next to the unstable part. Yeah,
got him by the back of his shirt or suspenders or whatever.
I grab a chair and pull it so that I'm sitting backwards in it, and take off my patrolman's cap so you can see that the sides of my head are buzzed down. But I've got one of those. Who's the villain of Fifth Element? Zorg, who's got the mohawk. So sides are shaved down, but I still have the black mohawk.
You remind me of what was it from The Expanse, the detective in The Expanse.
Yeah.
Played by Thomas Jane. Yeah.
So I'm sitting backwards in the chair. I still got my cigarette, and I indicate for Daniela to just look threatening. Probably isn't her first time pulling this little racket. As a gesture for Sato to, not hold him over the open expanse yet, because I don't want Sato to accidentally fall in. But start pushing him towards
push him towards the edge.
I mean, when I said there is scaffolding there with sheet plastic, but you could easily sort of push through the plastic. It's designed to give you some sort of protection from not just instantly falling in, but overcoming that protection will be very easy. I will say you do notice the whole building has a 2% lean, which not enough to see, but enough for you to just feel that slight lean in the floor of the building as well towards the hole.
Look, kid, I'm here and I want everything on this case to go applesauce. You hi-hat me, you're going in the drink. From the looks of it, I don't think you want to be down there. So if you give me a line, you're not going to be seeing your girl ever again, okay? Are we on the same page?
Which, you mean my mum?
I don't judge. Look, what's your name?
Sammy.
All right, Sammy. You on the lam? Or you on the level?
I'm on the level.
Okay.
I guess.
You don't have any warrants?
I didn't think so.
Okay, here's how it goes. You tell me what I want to know. Not what I want to hear, but what I want to know. You walk away with the business card today. It's not exactly a get out of jail free, but next time you do something stupid, maybe you don't end up dying.
He just nods.
Okay, people go missing in this building. You know about that?
I heard something about people screaming, and the cops came and checked it out, and that was it.
Who's pick?
It said the pigs.
Oh,
He
the
said
pigs.
Yeah, and corrected to the cops.
Okay. I thought he said pick, like someone in his organization. So that's good. You with the Croaks, right?
Like they pay me to like keep an eye out and stuff. Tell people where to get in.
Croaks like it when somebody disappears people on their territory?
I don't know. They didn't talk to me about it. Just to look out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, who do I gotta go to? I want to talk to somebody in the Croaks that knows what's going on here. Huh? Somebody saw something. Okay? You're out here. You're seeing things. I want to know who was here on that night. If it wasn't you, I need to talk to your boss. I need to know who that is. And I gesture for Sato to, like, push him towards the edge a little bit more.
I mean, I imagine this is not like the first time that we've run this like play, basically.
I mean, we're playing bad cop, bad cop, bad cop.
Yeah, bad cop, murderer.
Look, the leader of this group, they're in 104, just down the hall on the right. Guy's name is Pike. At this point, you hear a voice in the corridor saying, "Hello, Mr. Policeman, how did you come in? Hello."
One moment, ma'am. I'll be with you in a second. You a snitch? Say to the kid.
He doesn't know how to answer because he just snitched. He doesn't want to
The
say
fuck
yes.
you asking to snitch for? You're the one that's trying to get information.
I know. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna go up to him and take a long drag with my cigarette. I'm gonna do that thing where you blow cigarette smoke out into the rain and it gets all flat.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go. Stop snitching. Nobody likes a snitch. And as I do that, I'm gonna take I open my business card holder and I'm gonna put a business card in his shirt pocket. I'm gonna say, "You didn't tell me anything." Okay.
He nods.
All right, let him go.
Like Sato just like shoves him towards the door.
Okay. Nice.
I go out to find this lady who's apparently come downstairs to talk to me.
So she is probably, you'd say, in her 70s. A little bit overweight, just that sort of like that age weight, just wearing like a plain dress. She sort of looks a bit unsure or cautious, so you get the impression she doesn't leave her apartment very much.
I come out, but, I show my badge and I do that thing that detectives do where like I put my hat over my chest and I look slightly ashamed, like, "Oh, I can't believe I've come to bother your time, ma'am."
Oh, detective. I'm Abigail Baxter. She like sends her hand.
Baxter. That's a name that I've heard. Second floor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I say.
She was one that reported the screaming in the first place.
Oh, just the woman I was hoping to talk to, ma'am. Do you have a few minutes to step aside so that I can talk to you about the report that you filed?
Certainly. Would you like to come upstairs for tea? She's sort of like eyes towards the door to apartment 104. There's unfriendly people around. I'd rather. I
understand, ma'am. I need to talk to the super first at city regulations, but my compatriots and I will be upstairs very shortly.
Oh, yes. Well, you should speak to Mr. Diatoro, definitely.
I take my cigarette when she's not looking, and I put it on the ground and stomp it out while I...
So, quick question. The scaffolding's going down to the pit. Does it seem like it could be easily climbed down to further look out?
No. So effectively, like, the scaffolding is connected to what's left of the foundation of this building.
Okay.
But it doesn't extend down into the pit. So the pit is open beneath the part of the foundation, but the scaffolding is providing additional support. But, the building is, within weeks, not months of completely collapsing.
Wow. But you can go around and into the pit to look under the foundation.
Yeah, you could, yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go do that.
Before you go, I'm going to grab your arm. Because I approve of this initiative, but I have something I need you to do. I'm going to take out an old-style flip detective notebook and write down on it, Sato, set up for breach on 104, keep it quiet. And I'm going to make sure everybody sees that while I let you go.
Okay.
I'm still pounding on the door for the soup.
Yep. And the soup, like the 101 door has like a rusted nameplate which says tenement manager, which is like the screws come out of one side, so it's hanging down vertically as such,
I've lived here before. I'm gonna be honest.
So what you can hear like loud television sounds coming from his doorway as well. By the way,
yeah.
You can tell you're having to bang loudly just to get over the sound of the television, basically. So while you're banging the door, what are you doing, Pondo? So are you going out the front to try and get under the pit, or are you going through the section of 106 which is collapsed?
Yeah, essentially, I just want to get to the point where you can look underneath the foundation to see if there's might be any sort of underground pathway or something into like the sewers.
Okay.
I mean, that works too.
It's ancient Indian burial ground on the moon.
Yeah, it's like, well, either I found where the people went, or I found something else.
I would like you, please, to give me a mechanics roll.
I would love to. 8 and 8, double success.
No, double success. Okay, cool. So it's only WD1. So I'll tell you a result first. You can, with the momentum, you can either ask for more information or you can bank it. Okay. So under the building, you can see that. So the section where like the sewer line and power off the street comes in is there. First off, the sewer is old and broken in parts. There's still like some raw sewage running out into the hole in the ground as well, probably from subsidence. The electrical cables, though, are quite new. Like you would say, only installed in, like well after the building was built, and are way too high grade for the sort of power requirements for this sort of building. Like you're talking, undersea cable sort of stuff going into like basically an apartment block.
I'll spend the momentum on more information.
Okay, any particular questions you'd like to know about it, or?
This cable's new. I guess it'd be a general question is, how hard would have that been to do without having to just tear down the whole building or tear apart the whole building to
if it was unplanned for, almost impossible, because it's underground cable basically, and the cable is like thick gauge, and it almost looks like the cable has like been burrowed down from the building into the ground rather than has been dug and then laid.
So I guess the one thing I want to look for is in case like this old sewage line, is it big enough to hold that people can walk under through?
No. It's just like sort of like 4-inch piping.
Okay. Wait, little people? No.
No.
Sorry, for some reason my head was like 4 feet. No, he said 4 inches.
These motherfucking 6'1" giants in here, like 4 feet. They must be fucking leprechauns.
No, I mean, I heard James when he said 4 inches, and that's about, that big around.
Is there a way that you can tell is the erosion seem to be like man-made, where it was planned to happen?
So effectively, what's happened here is that they were excavating like underground. They were digging out to build a new building with a basement next door. And while digging, because of the rain, they've obviously hit like a sinkhole or some sort of level of subsidence. And once the holes opened up, the ground around it just started to flow down. Especially with the rain, it's like you're getting soil erosion at a rapidly enhanced speed. So it's taken out, like I said, like a third of this building. But as far as the rest of it, like in many ways, where you've now got the piping and the electrical cables, they are providing structure that the soil can cling to in order to reduce that level of liquefaction.
Okay. I was just thinking as the idea of that there's possibly they have a secret passage down there, something that they could have been sneaking the people out.
Probably not. No,
possible.
No,
okay.
But and by the way, you have noticed that all the windows on the building where they're still there for the hole are all barred too. They have bars on the windows.
Right.
But I mean, if you're getting rid of a body, you could throw a body in that hole, no problem.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I'm done here, and I'll go
back. Okay.
Back so to, I think I'll go to room 104, apparently, that we're going to soon.
To stack up?
I was just going to start hacking in the door or whatever I need to break in.
No worries. So, Arthur, eventually, after like banging for probably about a minute straight, you hear like just a moment, and then the door opens up, and there is a fat, greasy, smelly man wearing like the wife beater vest. Over shorts. He's like, he's like, you can tell he hasn't showered in weeks, if not months. Filthy fingernails, stinks of beer. He's got stains all down his shirt. You can still hear the TV blaring loudly in the background. Probably. You can still, like, from the stains of his teeth, he's probably a heavy smoker as well. And you can just, like, through the limit of the doorway, you can see there's, like, beer cans and takeout containers scattered about his floor as well. Yeah, typical
D&D like player in college, yeah.
Yeah.
I got my badge up, obviously. And I go,
detective. You want to come in?
You're coming out. I need you to give me a run of the facility.
What do you mean, like a master key or something?
Yeah, that'll do. I look at Sato. I look at Danielle. I go, that'll do.
I don't know. Is that proper? Like, then I got to check with my supervisor or something.
Listen, pal. You either hand us over the key, or I'm just going to hack into the rooms for us. Okay? You can just make this simple for us. We can deal with it later.
Someone give me a persuade roll.
I got it.
Pondo, you have observed, by the way, there are surveillance cameras in the halls as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so can I do something about this?
After making the roll.
Yes.
It says you got a success.
No, zero success. He rolled 13 and 16.
Okay, I'm in dark mode. That might be my issue. Oh.
Fucking dark mode.
I can't chronicle points, momentum. I heard a lot of things, but it went in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, okay. So
Do I have dark symmetry? I don't know. You tell me if I can do something to force this into a success, maybe at a cost. I don't know. If I can't, it's fine. We'll have to try something else.
Do you have any traits that say you can reroll it? Maybe possibly.
Oh, that's a good point. Because
I know
I do not.
I have some. Okay.
Yeah, I got all my traits are in observation.
So what you could effectively do is you could sweeten this with an asset. So on the bottom of your sheet under background, you should see you've got assets.
Yeah.
So these are just like intangible, things. You could use them for bribes, etc. You could toss an asset his way.
Do they reset at the end of the session, or is this like a permanent loss?
So if you look, you've got earnings 3.
Yeah.
So effectively, that's how many assets you gain each sort of pay cycle. Effectively.
Okay, I'm gonna slip him one asset, which is gonna be a bunch of crumpled up cocaine stained, Benjamins, or it's 400 years of the future, so it's probably $1 trillion bills. They have Elon Musk face on them.
Did I tell you a mate of mine gave me $1 billion Zimbabwe bill?
Oh yeah. You did.
Yeah. All right. He
2 trillion, so he could get a good night in a Marriott or something with that.
He shoves the stay note into his pocket and says, "Oh, very good, officer. Come in. I'll get you the keys."
Hey, where's the question? Where's the room that you keep the security equipment in?
It doesn't work, but it's in here.
All right. I look at Danielle like, yeah.
Let me take a look, see what I can do.
So when you step into the room, everything is as filthy as you would expect.
I'm gonna bet it has a particular smell too.
Yeah, he has a like a lounge chair which faces a massive TV.
It's an easy boy. Let's just say it.
So, like the majority of rubbish is around the base of the chair. The TV is currently on some capital station playing. Have you ever seen like in Australia we'd call it funniest home videos, but they're like prank shows. Yes. There's hidden cameras filming people being pranked.
Mm-hmm. It's an American thing, yeah.
That's basically what he's watching, and then around that big screen are like 8 or so small CRTs, probably about like 10-inch screens that are all currently off. That look like they'd probably be, the basis for the security system. But yeah, it's all off right now. And he goes over and like digs through some empty pizza boxes and finally pulls out a rack of keys. Here you go, detective.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let Danielle here to do her thing. It sounds like she maybe wants to see if she can get it working or pull something. Right?
Yeah.
I thought that was what was happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me an observation test, please, Pondo.
So I'll spin a Chronicle, to get a success already. I'll still roll.
Do you want to roll the dice as well, or just going to take the success?
Do I just need one success to pass it?
It's only difficulty 1. Yep.
I want to roll it anyway. I want to roll.
Ooh. Okay. So you actually have a total of 4 successes because you spent the Chronicle point. So I'm going to tell you what you know for free, and you've got up to 3 momentum to use and bank.
Imagine just a simple operation of I just smack the monitor and it starts working.
No. So this is observation. You've done it. So I'm going to. So the first thing that Daniela observes is that the system, as far as you can tell, has been turned off. So it's you can't see any obvious problem with it, other than the fact that somebody has just turned it off. So knowing that, the question is going to be, because he may have turned it off for a reason, and now he's lying about it. If you turn it on, you're going to catch him in that lie. Whether or not that's what you want to do straight away or not, I'm going to leave it to you. Is there anything else you would like to specifically know about this? With any, so you've got 3 momentum to use, so you can use some of it, you can bank some of it.
I think
so you actually have 5 successes too, because the extra success counts as a 1, which is within your focus too. So you've got 5 successes total.
Okay. I'll bank 3 successes into momentum, just because. I don't even know what a question to ask. Does he have like maybe some sort of like possible hidden safe or something they could be stashing?
Do you have hidden safe? I would say, okay, I'm going to say yes. You observed that when you're sort of looking behind the gear to see what's wrong with it. So I'll give you 2 things to notice with the Tim momentum. Okay, so the first thing is that additional lines have been patched into this since it was installed. But there's newer cables there, for example, so additional stuff has been fitted more recently. 2, you do see there's like a section where the sheetrock has been like cut and been put back in place. There's like a square, it's not like a proper door, but there's like effectively a hidey hole, probably about 14 inches square, has been cut in the sheetrock behind his entertainment unit.
Okay. I think Danielle's going to like side eye Sato and kind of nod towards the door, like the door out.
I think Sato hasn't come into the room yet. He's still just kind of standing there in the hallway.
Oh, okay. Well,
with his shotgun and low
yeah, exactly. Like I'm like
waiting for his go code.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm gonna essentially just take my pocket knife, pop open the drywall into like the crack.
Are you trying to do it in such a way that the super doesn't see that you're doing this?
No, I don't care.
Okay, no worries. People say, "Hey, what are you doing back there?"
I got this guy dead to rights regardless, so it's.
So you pop open the wall socket and it's filled with tapes, VHS tapes.
You got yourself a filming company here, pal? Like, what's going on here? First, I see the cameras are turned off. Nothing's wrong.
What's your probable cause for looking through my stuff?
What the fuck? I don't give a shit. Look, pal, look at me. Does it look like I'm looking for the pig like him? No, I don't. I'm here because I'm forced to, okay? I'm just trying to get this day done so I can go home, get my car running. That's all. I got a muffler to steal later. It's just a regular day. Now, can I do some explaining with the tapes and why the security system is not turned on when it's perfectly
I'm not doing
fine?
No explaining without my lawyer here.
Okay.
I think at this point, Sato will step into the room behind him and
He's
just
your new lawyer,
rack the shotgun.
He's your new lawyer. I suspect you start talking.
Look, I'm a good guy. I try to keep an eye on my residents, make sure they're safe, right? And he flicks on the system and all the cameras pop up, and there's certainly there's the hallway cameras, but then there is also like cameras in people's rooms, like clearly concealed cameras in bathrooms and the like.
So you're telling me there's not going to be any sort of nudie scenes with these tapes if I put them in right now, right?
Look, I mean, everything's recording all the time, right? I just haven't had a chance to erase that stuff yet.
Erasing will be okay, pal. Look, you're trying to bullshit a bullshitter here, okay? Listen, why are there cameras in people's rooms? All right, I see one of them in a bathroom. What's with that? Actually, no. Don't answer that. I know what's with that.
I'm gonna put a hand on Danielle's shoulder and say, Sato, take them. We're going back to the same spot.
All right.
Oh, jeez, again with this crap. While you do that, I'm gonna just go look here, see if there's anything on when the time happens.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna write down on my detective's notebook to pull up 104 as well, like a live of what's going on in 104.
Yeah,
and then also get 3rd floor on the date of the incident.
Okay, no worries. So it's going to take you time to figure out how to pull out of the system, basically, because they're recording on 24-hour VHS tapes, so you have to find the right tape. put it into certain
we're gonna get a lot of those noise. You know, like.
Can I spin a couple of momentum to make it go faster?
Oh, yep, you can. Well, so let me come back. So, if you bring up 104 right now, there are 6 guys in there currently cooking drugs.
Yeah. Oh, of course, great.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a chronicle to make it go faster, not a momentum. Unless I
no. Momentum you can use to enhance the speed. That's
okay,
fine.
yeah. So I'd spin a couple, 1 or 2 momentum depending on what I'm allowed to speed up the process.
Okay, so it's going to be a because you can use your bank. It's still a new roll, but you can use your bank momentum to do it. So it's going to be a new observation roll to go through and try and find this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll spin another chronicle.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
Okay.
Hot dice.
Usually in these sort of situations, I actually roll terribly.
Yeah, normally we would call you Prondo the Mad, but you're just fucking killing it out here.
Okay, so you're at 4, plus you've got your 3 bank momentum from previously.
Turns out when you have to roll low, you do good, Pondo.
What do you mean? I do terribly in Rogue Trader because I always roll high.
I'll give you, so this is what you have for free. Looking through on the so when you say the date that happened, so there was screaming reported for several times over several days, and there was the day that the police turned up and couldn't find anybody. So what are you going back to?
We want the screaming. I don't give a shit about the day where the police showed up and did fuck all.
Yeah, the day of the screaming, and I'd like to check the day when like the cameras around to see what day that the sinkhole happened.
Okay, cool. So all right, so I'll start off with this is your pre-thing about what's happened on relevantly recently. So one thing you observe is that looking in these cameras in people's living areas, their TVs are always on. Even when they go to bed, the TV is on. Going back to the times that there are the reports of screaming from the 3rd floor, you sort of see, like, because it's video and no audio. You see static on the TV screens in the 3rd floor, and the people who live there like go and investigate. They're clearly disturbed by something that's happening, and they're like hitting the TV. Your estimation would be the screaming is actually coming from the television. And eventually it comes good and they stop, and they probably make a phone call or something to probably try and complain about the TV sort of thing. On the day before the police show up, after the last incident of screaming, they're in the middle of an incident of screaming, when the Beaks, the girl in apartment 302 and the guy in apartment 303 all suddenly just like stand up, bolt straight. Whatever they're doing, the Beaks were unpacking shopping. The girl was running a bath, and the guy in 303 was cleaning a firearm. They just get up and they walk out of their apartments. And in the hallway, you see them go out and climb the stairs to the level 4. And there's no whatever cameras on level 4, the system's disconnected from it. It's broken.
How long has those been disconnected?
Since the sinkhole incident, which is probably the sinkhole probably opened up about 4 months ago. Yeah, you sort of see the day where and there were more people living in the apartment at that point in time as well, where literally just the whole building shook and then part of it started to collapse. So probably I think like 3 people died in the actual incident as well, where their apartment sort of broke open. They were in the part of the building which collapsed. I mean, like the top floors have been unoccupied for a while, but certainly, yeah, like when that sinkhole opened up, there was it broke a lot of the camera system. And effectively, like, this guy's only been interested in repairing ones that have view of where people live. He's only interested in spying on people anyway.
Okay. I don't suspect there's any saved tapes before then.
I mean, he's only really kept tapes that have stuff that he can watch lasciviously anyway. So,
I mean, it's
yeah.
So has the fourth floor been occupied longer before the incident, the sinkhole?
Yeah, the upper floors of the building have been fallen disappeared long ago.
Okay. I just want to see if there's maybe someone up there at the time of the sinkhole or tried to shut off those cameras.
So the information I give you there was worth a total of 2 momentum. So you've still got 1 left. So if you could bank that, it puts you on 4 group momentum at the moment.
Yeah, I go ahead and bank that. There's okay. I don't think there's much I can glean from this.
Well, yeah. I would be interested to see if the cops actually did their job.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look,
listen, this is an option for Pondo. Like, it's his momentum. Yeah. I wonder if the cops didn't show up. You know, like maybe they were bribed, maybe they didn't do their job, maybe something happened to them. Now that we know that there's something weird that's causing people to act weird, I want to know.
Streaming TVs.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I forgot about the cops regardless, but yeah, sure. I'll go. I can check to see what happened to the cops if they just like showed up, don't see anything, and then just left.
Yep. So yeah, they did show up. They looked around. They were starting to like set up a basic crime scene. Like you can see they're looking. You can't. The resolution's not good enough. You can make out this blood they see, but they are checking stuff on the floor in the rooms as well. But then they obviously get like a radio call, and they like head out in a hurry. They quickly close the doors, put up do not cross tape. You know. So and thinking back, you seem to recall there was an officer under fire call that night as well. Not too far from here,
but nothing weird with the police. Like
they did their typical sort of job. They were both protectors. They were both patrolmen. I was going to say the footage. Oh, okay. The other thing I was going to say was, so you know from your notes where there are people living in this building. You do know that one of the addresses apparently was. Checking. So according to what he's done here, he's been trying to set up cameras in 204, but been having problems getting it to work. Like there's multiple patch leads here that are tagged for 204 that have each one's failed to work.
Okay.
And 204 is the room where the Peterson heir was staying?
No, 302. She's in 302.
Okay, 302. Okay.
Yeah, 204 doesn't have a resident listed.
Okay. But it's above the drug den.
Yeah.
So that must be another. That could be another one where they found the camera and kept on disconnecting it or whatever. Okay. After that, she'll just wrap up and.
You're gonna join the interrogation section over here?
Sure. I just imagine Sato just dangling him off the pit.
No, I want Sato to have him on his knees, facing out towards the sinkhole with the shotgun in the back of his head.
Yeah, both of us are thinking in the same area, basically.
He's instead of probable
grabbing
cause.
him, yeah, I just maneuver him over with the shotgun, and then when we get over to the edge of the pit, kick him in the back of the knees so that he falls down.
I'm gonna pull out another cigarette and light it. I'm gonna say, "Listen here, you horse feather ragamuffin. You got some problems here. I got more than enough to pinch you. You know that?"
Look, I'm just a guy doing a job.
Mm-hmm. Says you.
Look, what do you want? You want your money? He pulls your dirty money out and throws it on the ground.
Got it. I just Sato to get the money back. I mean, I want the asset back. I'm a mark it on my sheet as well.
No, I'm a mark it on my sheet. Sato pockets those bills, baby.
I'll allow for that. We got that kind of relationship. I'll tell you what, I don't want to take you for a ride, Lucius. Got your name. I know where you live. I know what your deal is. You got problems, my friend. This building's going down one way or another pretty soon, huh? You ever thought about that? You need to get your little nudie cams out of the rooms before somebody notices. Because at some point, somebody is going to be disassembling them. And I think that the corporation that owns this building would be very interested to know what you're doing with its employees and residences. You know, one of the girls that you've been spying on, her daddy's an executive. That's problems for you, my friend. You need someone to make those problems go away.
What do you mean? You mean that's sweet girl in 302?
Quite the looker.
And he says sweet, not implying she has sweet personality, but as in she is sweet to look at.
Yes. You keen?
Look, I mean, she's got a boyfriend. Okay, he's not some no good street kid. Comes and visits her all the
that
time.
Was a kid that
Yeah, I was gonna say, she's dating Sammy.
No.
Yeah.
What do you know about this kid?
She's just she's obviously corp. You can tell about it. She's got a wardrobe full of high fashion clothes she doesn't wears. But
yeah, I want to know about the kid she's dating.
Is he a coke?
No. He's not a ganger, but he's from the street. He's a nines person.
Yeah, it's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. He doesn't know much about the kid. Only that she's got a boyfriend.
Now look, my friend, you got all kinds of problems here. So I'm gonna need you to hit on all sixes for the thing that I'm about to ask you for. There's some weird stuff going on up at the 3rd and 4th floor. You feel me?
You mean like the screaming and the missing people?
Yeah, like that.
Look, I didn't want to be involved in that. Other than that the cute girl, the other people on floor 3, like the Beaks, they're old, they're nice, they're a couple of factory schmucks. But that Conrad guy, he's a meathead or a merc or something. They're not really that much interest. So I
stop talking.
Listen. He's not going to be able to tell you much. He doesn't know jack.
I don't need him to tell me anything.
He's too busy looking at the boob tube to know what he wants to do. Okay.
Listen.
If you're going to shoot him in the back of the head, shoot him in the back of the head so we can get on with this, or you can just let him go to his business.
Lucius, I need you to do something for me. Something that only you can do. I need you to turn power to the building off when I give you the signal. Because we're going to go charging up there to that 4th floor and we're going to figure out what the fuck's going on. But I don't want to be some sort of mind freak zombie when I get up there, so you're going to fucking do it. And then you're going to go to room 104 because I'm sure they're going to be real fucking upset that their drugs are no longer cooking, and you're going to explain to them.
We should probably hit up room 204 first, not room 104.
No, he's going to go to room 104 and explain to them to stay calm and not come outside of the room. Because I don't need a bunch of fucking drug addict criminals coming up our ass while we're going up the goddamn stairs.
I mean, the other thing we could do is just throw a piece of some fire in there, like a Molotov, and it'll just go boom regardless.
I'm not throwing a Molotov into a drug den for the second time, Daniela. The fucking paperwork was as long as my Johnson.
How about I do it for you? How about that?
We can deal with the drug addicts later, okay? You've seen the same tapes that I did. That shit's weird. I don't want any funky noises in my brain, okay? Listen.
Okay, how about Lucius, this? We deal with the drug dealers now.
I get up beside Lucius and I'm crouching down and I blow my smoke in his face and I go, you have control of the fuse box, right?
No. It's corp power. Like the Bauhaus, everything here is corp. It's corp TVs, corp lights. If I want to get the power to them, I got to make a phone call.
Do we have cell phones? It's not 220s. I don't know if we're like rotary phoning or something.
Do you know where the power? The power.
landmines.
Do you know where the power room is? Or is it all just remote from the corporation?
Yeah, it's we can got like a maintenance area. Like any maintenance I can do is in my unit. That's it. In my apartment.
I'm gonna tell you what. You're gonna make that call. You're gonna make it priority, and you're gonna do it right now. Or somebody's gonna be taking a trip out of town.
Okay.
Sato, let him up.
Okay, here's my suggestion about room 104. We handle it now because if we handle it later, you're going to miss out on chance in that drug bust. Because if
Fine,
they get
fuck
one, okay.
All right, so I don't know what weapons.
Sato's very happy that
I don't know what weapons you guys have. Does
right
anyone
now.
have grenades or like a heavy weapon?
We
Sato
just talked
has,
about not blowing up the room. What are you talking about grenades for? We don't want to use guns
out
at
of
all.
character, I'm asking you guys what your standard armament is because I have a pistol.
Yeah, so Sato has a shotgun.
And brass knuckles.
Yeah, and brass knuckles and 2 daggers. Like,
Okay. Did we get the master key from this fool, right? That happened.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
James, is there a way that I could fashion some sort of flashbang?
Yeah, I'm sure that any of these apartments that you can put the urban
MacGyver it together.
Yeah, just go into random apartments.
The
Hey,
urban anarchist handbook.
Gotta look around quick. I need to look for something. Oh, that would work. I'll probably take a piece off of the squad car too.
Okay. I feel like we probably shouldn't let this guy go alone, but I'm hoping that he's found us sufficiently threatening that he'll do what we want. I mean, we literally have him by the balls, so I just tell him, go into your fucking room, you get this done on the quick.
Okay.
On the
So
bounce.
Lucy's going back to his apartment to make a call
and to turn the power off here. We're going to stack up on 104.
To get the power turned off. Yeah, to get the power
Yes.
So all 3 of you are going to go stand. Pondo, were you trying to go into his kitchen and make something up?
Yeah. My suggestion would be check room 204 first if it's going to be directly above.
Well, but we're going to clear room 104 first.
Yeah, we're going to clear the druggies out.
My thought is that they have some sort of
room above.
Yeah.
But we can see into 104.
Entry.
We can see into 104 though.
No, you can't. The cameras aren't working in there.
I thought you said that we could. No, not 204. I thought you said we could see into 104 with the drugs.
104, yes, you can.
That's why I want to clear 104. I want to get our known subjects contained and controlled before we go into a totally unknown environment that lets them come up behind us.
Yeah, we gotta corral our known unknowns before we go after our unknown unknowns.
Okay. Thank you, Rumsfeld. Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand Sato the flashbang. Okay, when you pull this pin.
So are you making a flashbang? That takes time to make.
Sure. I'll spend a couple of momentum on that as well.
Okay, so when you're doing that, what are the other 2 doing while Daniela is making an improvised explosive device?
We're going to quietly move to outside 104.
Yeah.
And just, we'll do that thing where we're awkwardly figuring out whether I'm going in left-handed or right-handed, which shoulder am I leading with, where is he standing? We're trying to get the best angles. You know what I mean? We're taking our time before we go in here.
Okay. So, Daniela, you're inside Lucius's room while he basically plonks down back in his couch again with he's got a rotary phone, but it's got a long enough lead. He's pulled it over from the wall where it's and he sits in his lap. The show, the prank show is still playing on the screen, which appears to basically be really sort of mean and spiteful pranks. And then interspersed with a cut of a giant unblinking eye with a voiceover narrating, what the next prank is going to be. The video suddenly cuts to a news report that is basically announcing that the government has received, or the corporation has received word that the manned mission to Pluto successfully landed. The explorers are because it's a delayed transmission from Pluto, basically. But it's just a breaking news that it would have landed a few days ago, but they've finally gotten safe transmissions back that the Victoria expedition to Pluto has been successful.
I've seen Event Horizon. I know what's happening.
And in the at this point, Danielle, in the now playing security camera screens they're playing back the footage of when you first arrived. Like you can see the three of you walking through the halls, taking the kid into the unused apartment, and in each of these footage, you see a dark, shadowy figure following you around throughout the footage. Never resolving itself as more than just a sort of dark, menacing figure. At this point, all three of you get a strange smell in your nose, like burnt plastic. And Danielle, at this point, Lucius explodes like a ripe melon, splattering the room with gore.
Oh shit!
Could I have you please make a willpower test against a difficulty of 2?
Willpower. What is a willpower test? Is it mental? Okay. Fuck. I'll spin.
Don't fuck up now, Pondo. This is fucking crucial, bro.
I could, because I'm only at 6. I believe I have to roll under that, right?
So it's difficulty 2. So the chronic. Have you actually got? Okay, yes, you got focus. So you get enough. Okay, cool. So you managed to avoid. Completely having a mental breakdown, being splattered with somebody's gore as they explode. This is probably a good point to take a break, I think.
Yeah. The super just exploded into soup.
I mean, somebody said, okay, well, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
Someone's saying it's a Pluto demon mutant. I'm wondering if this guy bleeds milk. He's a synth. The worst designed synth in history, but
yeah.
I guess literally no one would suspect he was a synth. All right, we'll be back for the second half. I really I've had my moments. Daniela's had her moments. I'm trying to get Sato his moment while we're stacking up here, but now I'm thinking shit's gonna get weirdly demonic from here on out. So who fucking knows? I guess we'll find out when we return in the second half in about 8 to 10 minutes. Stick around.